Hey guys, Banana Luck here. Welcome back to another Watch Your Realms video. So we are in here with the second Northerner unit that we'll be getting soon in the upcoming weeks. That's Khadgrim. Sounds very weird when I say his name out loud. But in case you guys didn't already notice, he is the next Northerner defender. But very interestingly, he is in a mixed faction that we never thought we would actually see. Arbiter, Northerner tank. I don't think we've gotten any proper Arbiter tank up till now. This is going to be the first one out of all that we've got. But let's take a look at the rest of his kit. So first of all, base stats. 33k HP. This could potentially be the highest base stats that we've seen in the game so far. Let's see what Brokkir is sitting at. 29k. 28k, 25k. So it looks like this guy is potentially the highest HP unit in the game right now. I could be wrong, but just based on the tanks alone, this guy is a huge block of meat. 33k HP, attack is at 3k, who cares about that? 4.4k defense, that sounds pretty high. And then a whooping attack interval of 10 seconds. We're getting a Dracula all over again. But it probably has to do with something in his kit. You can see just 1 tower attack range, durability, team protection, and strong CC. He has no oh yeah, he has cinematics. So let's watch that without further ado. I think this is the first non-lot defender that we've gotten a cinematic for. Oh, he increased in size here. It was not like Rivenhall where the reindeer shrank. He actually increased in size. But he's a dwarf though, so how can he be so big? Very cool cinematics, very cool design. I love the details that are going on here. I don't think we've gotten such an intricate dwarf design up till now. But yeah, let's take a look at his kit without further ado. When staying idle, remains in Glacier Bulwark, where it reduces damage taken by 20%. Additionally, 100% of the damage taken is reflected to the attacker. Reflected damage cannot exceed 200% of the hero's max HP, which is going to be sitting at about 120k, so 240,000 damage, if I'm not wrong. And then removes Glacier Bulwark when launching basic attack or casting a skill. So it means that whenever he attacks or he casts a skill that's not remaining idle, it doesn't mean that he needs to just stay in Tau. He needs to be not doing any attacks or casting any skills. While in Glacier Bulwark grants 20% physical and magic damage reduction to the hero's adjacent allies, excluding himself. And then first passive, deals 100% damage to one main target and up to 7 targets around him, and restores 20 rage with each basic attack, sounding very similar to Lady Mina's kit. And A1, the hero gains ice armor upon taking fatal damage, instantly restores 100% HP and becomes immune to all damage for 3 seconds. It triggered during Icy Veins, exits Icy Veins immediately. I'm guessing that's gonna be the ultimate or something. And oh, okay, no, it's not. After activating the ultimate 3 times, enters the Icy Vein state and resets ice armor. So doubles the damage reduction gain from Glacier Bulwark. It means that this is going to go up to 40%, and then the shield strength increases by 15%, and then it resets ice armor. So it means that this unyielding state can be reset every time he does 3 ultimates, which is pretty wacky. It's gonna be like Malvera, but I think it's gonna be a way stronger because this guy already has way better base stats. And then second passive, when shielded, after the basic attack deals damage, deals additional true damage equal to 70% of the hero's max HP, inflicts freeze on the enemies for 0.5 seconds. If the enemy is immune to freeze, inflicts damage reduction instead. This is going to be setting him up for Guild Boss, where they are most of the time, immune to freeze. And then during Icy Veins, extends the freeze duration to 1 second, and damage reduction by an additional 1. Oh, all of it is extended by 1 extra second, so this goes up to 4 seconds. The problem is that his basic attack, is only once every 10 seconds. So even if you build him up in very good attack speed, the damage reduction is not going to be that constant. So you're going to have to rely on many of the other stuff to actually keep units alive here. And then Arena cost passive reduced by 5. What is his base cost sitting at? Sitting at 19, so that's pretty high. And then 14 costs after the reduction for AoE Arena. And then Ultimate, Mountain's Pulse applies a permanent shield to the hero equals to 100% max HP. And applies a shield to the adjacent ally equal to 30% of the max caster HP, lasting for 30 seconds. So, very big shields, especially for someone of his HP. And the skill is auto. It means that you can't time it. He's just going to keep casting the shield whenever it's ready. And yeah, very simple kit. I think the complicated bit is actually the Ice Armor and Icy Veins bit. And then on to his Awakenings. A0 Glacier Smash is enhanced. When shielded, basic attack can even inflict defense reduction on the enemies by 20% for 4 seconds. Once again, it's the same issue where, with how high his attack interval is, you're not going to get a very consistent uptime with that. A2 is flat HP, that's pretty standard. A3, after casting the ultimate 2 times, enters the Icy Vein state. So it basically reduces the Icy Vein requirements from 3 to 2. And then A4 is damage reduction, pretty standard. A5, the shield applied to the caster by the ultimate can stack up to 2 times. But the second stack only has half the effect. It means that in cases like GvG, if you if you wait for him for too long, you can actually inflict 150% of the original shield value. Instead of 100% max HP shield, it's going to be 150% instead. But bear in mind, this guy is probably going to be Ancient exclusive. So the problem with that is how easily obtainable he is to get him to A5. But to be honest, I think the base copy is more than enough if you're just looking at him to tank up. A1 is nice, I think, for Matrix if I had to guess. But I would think the base copy of him is more than enough for what you will see him do potentially. So yeah, very interesting kit, especially the Glacier Bulwark. I'm guessing if you somewhat put him in a state like Matrix where he can't actually do any damage, that's gonna come in pretty handy. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the skill kits. Let's actually get into the testings to see what he can do. Alright, first thing we're gonna test out is just how the Glacier Bulwark works. It doesn't look like Glacier Bulwark has any status indicators. Like you can't actually see it. Like you can see inspiration, penetration, or those damage reduction buffs. But the reduction that he offers, you are able to see on the allies, but the Glacier Bulwark itself, that's a bit hard to decipher. So how I tested it was actually in Guild Boss. And it's actually quite interesting how it works. It basically, what it does is as what it says. If Khadgrim is not doing any attacks, then he is gonna offer that reduction. So you can see right here, this very instance is casting an attack, so there's no damage reduction. But once the attack is over, he is gonna offer that reduction. There we go. You can see the reduction comes out, and that's, I think, probably the reason why he has such a freaking high attack interval. So if you build him with like little to no attack speed, you can expect the reduction to be on him, on the allies around him throughout the entire fight. And there you go, when he's attacking, it disappears again. And then once the attack is done, the reduction comes back. The problem is we can't see the reduction on himself. That's a bit annoying. They've been adding all this extra like debuffs and buffs, but somehow not all of them actually show up. But what it basically means is that when this guy is not doing any attacks, he is gonna, be offering that damage reduction to allies around him as well as himself. And then he also gets that shield from his ultimate, 30% to allies around him. And then after that, yeah, you get that reduction around him. So fairly straightforward in terms of his interactions. I don't think there is much else that we want to cover in terms of his skill kit. I think we'll be moving on to more testing to see how the rest of the stuff work. Icy Veins especially, I think what it means here, whether the ice armor actually resets, so he gets 2 sets of unyieldings, or there's more things to take note of here. But the damage reduction and freeze, I think that is pretty obvious. So yeah. Alright, the first test that we're gonna run on Khadgrim is gonna be how tanky can he be in GvG. Because obviously we don't have much good tanks right now. The options are either Brokkir, Torador in some cases, or Cyrus. So let's see how he stands up to compared to units like Brokkir at the moment. And we're gonna test that in GvG. It's gonna be with level 9 Grotesque Fiend with an Eova affiliation at about 128k BP. So very high BP, and honestly, no better way to test this out to see whether Brokkir can actually tank the hits. So let's see. My understanding right now is that Grotesque Fiend cannot actually stand up to it. So let's see. Okay. This is obviously not the most optimal team if we were to add in like a Valara instead of where Fenris is at the moment. I think the team would be even way stronger than what we see here. Now let's put in the Grotesque Fiend and see whether Brokkir can stand up to the hits here. I'm gonna try to put in the Fool, tank things up. You can see every hit is like half health gone. And over here it has actually proc Earl's Unyielding. You can see there's a golden heal on Brokkir. That's what's happening there. And now we have the Unyielding from Brokkir proc. And now it's just a matter of time to see whether, yep, that dies. So that gets broken through fairly easily. It is level 9 Fiend, but I think the point still stands that, right now there's no tank that can really take a stand against the Fiend. You could put in a Count Dracula and that will absolutely decimate the Grotesque Fiend, but let's just see Khadgrim now to see whether he stands up to it, and that alone will tell you how far apart they are in terms of power level, because I don't think we've had a new tank that's on the level that Khadgrim is at. Now let's find where is he. And we'll just swap over to the same set that Brokkir is currently running. And you're also gonna see that he has an exclusive, which I didn't show earlier. Increases his max HP by 25%, and whenever he has a shield on, he gets increased block of 1, and he restores 5% max HP to himself every time he has a shield. And the shield does stay on for quite a bit, just given by how many shielders we have in the team. So we're going to put him in the same position as Brokkir, and we're going to run the same exact attack to see whether we can break through. Alright, there we go. Same test, same Fiend, same levels, and same BP. Let's see whether he can actually stand up to it. Just fast forward here. I think there are a few differences between him and Brokkir. Firstly is that the shield value on Khadgrim is a lot higher and it's permanent. he also gets damage reduction on his own whenever he's not attacking, and when he is attacking, he does inflict damage reduction to the enemies he hits as well. So I think those alone, just based on values wise or debuffs, he has a very big edge over Brokkir, and not to forget as well that he has better base stats, and he has an artifact that just gives him straight up 25% max HP. So let's actually put down the units now and see what we can do with Khadgrim here. It's done. We'll put down the spiders. Yeah, you can see that shield, it's half of his health essentially. And yeah, not seeing him breaking through the... okay, we do get the break here. You can see the golden heal. So Earl's Unyielding has proc. But let's see if we can do anything else from here. And there you go, he goes into the ice armor state. And from here on, he's just way too tanky to actually cut through. And I think what happens here is that the Grotesque Fiend would just die eventually. And don't forget that with the Icy Vein state, he does do the damage reduction for a bit longer than what we had previously. We're just waiting for these spiders again. On that. Get all that up. Heal up. But I think at this point it's just near impossible to kill Khadgrim, especially when he goes into the Icy Vein state. We did get the Unyielding proc earlier, but that was before he actually got into Icy Vein state. And once the state activates, it's just near impossible to actually kill him. And you can see damage wise, yeah, 5.2 million tanked so far. And he does really decent damage on his own, mostly from all the reflected damage that he gives back. And that scales with his HP, where he has the highest HP value in the game right now. So it really does add up. So I can't even put into words how far apart they are between him and Brokkir, but we have to bear in mind that he is Ancient exclusive. So it's gonna be pretty hard to get him, especially because he's a non-lord. But just for those reasons alone, in terms of tanking capability, this guy is gonna set a new meta, GvG for sure. And don't forget, that was in the Northerner showcase. If let's say we were to do an Arbiter showcase, it's going to be a very different story. Because you're going to have Valara, Pope, Earl's is the one that is going to be Northerner, and then you're going to have Khadgrim as the tank. That is going to be pretty much an unstoppable team because you're going to be able to fit in Valara and do a crap ton of damage, which no other units can do at the moment. And yeah. So yeah, that's the test for GvG, and also how well he can actually tank. Now we'll look at a few other things to see where he might still shine, because GvG might not be everyone's cup of tea. Our next area we're going to test Khadgrim is going to be Arena. This one is a weird one, but it does make a lot of sense because I think Khadgrim is poised to be one of the better, or rather the better version of Oleg, where he can actually self-sustain with his shields and everything. It's actually pretty hard to kill him even without a healer on. So we're going to try him in Arena to see how he stands there. And we're going to be running a few tests. First off, it's just going to be this traditional Arena team that we've faced for quite a while. We're going to be adding Count Dracula A1, A3 Valderon, and we're going to see how that stands up to it. The reason why Khadgrim is good here is that he doesn't need a healer supporting him, and that unlocks a different sort of lineup placement strategy. So previously people were doing Citra facing up. With this Khadgrim team, you're going to see another similar strategy. That's gonna require slightly different placement, but you know, still gonna be far superior to what we've seen so far. Now I'm gonna just wait for Diao Chan, put her down. Slightly slower, that's just down to RNG. Then we're gonna switch modes and turn on the Valderon ultimate here. If we're lucky, we get 2 hits off there, then that's great. There we go. 2 hits, and then we can put down Count Dracula. This is a slightly aggressive play here because we're using Count Dracula to kill off these mobs before they even move off. So let's see if it pays off. Working well so far. We just wait for the other one to come through. And there we go. So the good thing here is that overall cost is lower, because otherwise you have to use Earlist right here. And yeah, because we don't use that, we can do this placement instead. So Khadgrim is now out. And yeah, we basically just wait for ultimates to be up before we do anything else. And now we pop Count Dracula's ultimate, and Cyrus not gonna be up yet, but that's fine. We only need her in round 5. You might lose to some other teams that have like Wukong, because in round 5 here typically you do get Wukong's ultimate that kills things instantly. Now we pop Valderon's ultimate, that's a bit late. Pop Cyrus ultimate, and yeah, we're gonna see this snipe out the mob almost immediately. It's earlier than having Cyrus facing here, but it is later than having Cyrus facing up. But with that facing up strategy that we're seeing right now at the moment, just doesn't seem to work that well anymore, because high BP just wards off that. Your Cyrus tends to die if they are placed in that particular positioning. Now we wait, see if we can get Cyrus ultimate up in time. It's not gonna be up in time, unfortunately. With a proper rich regen build, it could work, but yeah. In this case, we're gonna be slightly slower here, unfortunately. It's down to just bad ultimate timings, actually. Okay. Now we pop Valderon's ultimate, and you can see Khadgrim hasn't taken any significant damage just yet. He can survive on his own pretty well. We pop this ultimate, and then Cyrus, and then that's gonna kill off before this other clone just starts attacking at all. Get 1 tick of damage off, and then the last one, we're probably gonna take the win here as well. Pop the ultimate there. And then Cyrus ultimate comes up here. And then yeah, we're gonna get way faster clear here, because of just the Cyrus clone placements. You wouldn't be able to do this if it's Wukong or any other tank, because you're gonna have to face Earlist there instead. And you're gonna wind up either compromising your Earlist position, which makes it easy to die, or your Cyrus is gonna be in a vulnerable position. So this, so far, seems to be the only team that works well enough. Now we're gonna see this same team in action. We're just gonna face the exact same one. Is it this? No. I think it will be one of these guys. Yeah, there we go. So this is everything A5. I think we might actually lose here. So that's 593k BP. It is very, very high. That's also a good time to put Khadgrim into the test to see if he can actually survive the hits. Valderon down. No slams at all. It's fine. Now we put Diao-chan down. We're not gonna switch just yet. Because at such a high BP, we're gonna have some heals coming in before we switch. Slightly slower there. Hopefully Valderon can actually take one hit from the mob here. Okay, didn't have to take a single hit, fortunately. Now we're gonna have Count Dracula come in. Pop the ultimate here. So it's a very aggressive play. You can see here that he has Khadgrim behind instead. His Valderon is actually taking some hits. That's down. And now we're gonna have Khadgrim up. Hopefully in time. It does not look like it's gonna be in time. So Valderon is gonna take a hit. Fine. Now we have Khadgrim down. And that's all the tank issues we have covered for. So you chose to put Count Dracula last instead. Now we're just waiting for the Valderon procs to actually get that done. Okay, now I can put down Citra. And then it's just a point of waiting for the ultimates again. We get some hits off here, we can, and that's gonna help us to get a slight edge over him just from placement alone. I'm gonna pop the Valderon out a bit later. Because we had Citra supporting earlier. Yeah, slightly slower here. It's fine. Still gonna win overall, I think. I pop the Count Dracula ultimate, get some damage going. And now we pop Citra's ultimate, and that's gonna kill off the last mob before they can even do anything. You can see we get that slight edge over them. I think I can afford not to pop the ultimate just yet. Now we can pop it. And Citra's ultimate should come up. Oops. It's not come out in time. Timings need to be fixed there. Probably an earlier ultimate would be better.
Flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. What now? Break upon dwarven steel. Listen to them, children of the night.
There we go. So it's still slightly earlier than his. And there we go. So can it tank up to the higher BPs? Definitely yes, because Khadgrim just stands there and we don't really have to watch him at all. It's on auto ultimate anyways, and he just soaks up all the damage there. You don't have to worry about like Wukong's stuns not proccing and like Valderon, you know, not killing in time and then your Wukong dying. Khadgrim just basically solves that issue for everyone. So pretty impressive. I didn't expect him to be useful here, but he is Arbiter, which reduces his cost by 5. I think that's the reason why he can actually be placed down here. If his cost was at 19, like the original one, it would be a very different story. So yeah, that's for the arena showcase. Now let's move on to the last bit, which is going to be Matrix. Alright, so for Matrix, there's honestly not much to show here. All we have to do is just do the run and make sure that show you that Khadgrim just doesn't die. We have already seen that in the Riven Hall showcase, so there's really nothing that we have to go out of the way to show. So I'll just run the auto fight with the auto ultimates, and you can just see whether he survives through the focus strike itself. There we go. So now we're gonna just set all the ultimates on auto and just see him do what he do, which is tank. You can see here he doesn't actually do any attacks unless the mobs come in range. So Ardea does get that extra damage reduction, which is pretty handy. And Lady Mina as well. But yeah, once these mobs come out, he's going to start doing damage, and he does apply freeze to some of these units as well, so it is all around good control compared to like using Aspirin for a tank, for example. And Aspirin, if you have bad procs like too much of the energy erosion stacks, he does die. But whereas for Khadgrim, you can see he just stands here doing his thing. Yeah. With such big shield values, there's just no way to cut through him. Just gonna continue seeing. Focus strike. Yeah. It doesn't do jack to him. It basically doesn't do any damage at all. I mean, the later ones could see quite a big hit, but in the earlier ones, it really doesn't show anything. And when you compare that to Aspirin, it's just miles apart. Aspirin's HP normally drops down to about 40%, which is, based on his talent, he can only take 60% of max HP damage, so it makes sense. But on Khadgrim, it's just a totally different case. Yeah, 149 per hit, but you can see he heals up almost immediately afterwards. And don't forget that he offers defense down at A1 as well. That will definitely be handy in this particular matrix. So yeah, I mean, you could use him in magic phase as well, but then we have Azeroth with the pseudo tank strategy already. So I think Khadgrim is just best used in Northerners right now, especially if you get 5 Northerners, you get more shield procs. So that's the most optimal way to use him ideally. So you can see the later phases, he start taking quite a chunk of damage, especially with the pulse and everything. So the shield does get wiped off, but he does gain them back eventually, and then yeah, it's just impossible to kill him. I haven't had him die in any of my Matrix runs so far with him. Yeah, you can see the pulse there not doing any damage. And focus strike again. Yeah, 200k per hit, but he just heals back up instantly. And the focus strike now is gone. Yeah. It's almost like 1/3 of his HP, but he just heals everything back almost instantly. Now, almost at the end of the run here, he's still doing fine. There we go. Okay, Lady Mina dies instead. But yeah, other than that, I think that's it for this run. The chain vision, but yeah, I think Lady Mina was there. Maybe the score be slightly higher. But yeah, that's Khadgrim in Matrix. There's really nothing much else that we can explain there. He just basically soaks up all the damage there. It's very, very hard to take him down, and he does reflect quite a bit chunk of the damage back, so he does help out a bit, a tiny bit. But yeah, if you're worried about not having Esrin, then I guess Khadgrim is the solution for Matrix for you, for single target arena as well as for GvG. No doubt this guy is going to be the best tank in all 3 of these areas and anywhere else in the game. And I'll even argue to say that wherever we actually whichever place that we've ever needed Oleg to be there, to be self-sustaining, Khadgrim is just going to be the legendary version of that because he can absolutely tank up anything that comes his way. So yeah. Yeah, that's Khadgrim, the full showcase. Honestly, out of all the units, I would say that it's actually one of the more interesting ones. For once, we're seeing the reflected damage actually doing quite a bit of work here. And it's very impressive how much shields he actually puts up. The only shame is the fact that he is an Ancient Non-Lord exclusive, which means that there's no guarantees to actually get him. But just from all this testing alone, it is very impressive what he's dishing out, and he's the first proper tank that the Arbiters are getting. If you've realized, we've not tested him with Arbiters at all so far. It's all been just with Northerners. So just imagine what he can do in the Arbiter faction. And if we ever see strong single target units coming out for the Arbiter faction to actually compete with Valderon, then you can bet that, you know, Khadgrim is going to be at the forefront of that in terms of, you know, usability there. And yeah, his awakenings are actually pretty decent. So A1 gives defense reduction. It's an uptime of 4 seconds. So it's not 100% uptime, but it is 80% uptime more or less. And then A3 is also very good because Icy Vein State gets entered into one ultimate earlier. It does make a lot of difference, especially if you look at things like GvG. So in our showcase in GvG, we saw that he actually procced the Unyielding from earliest ones. If we were to have the A3, I think that the Icy Veins coming up earlier will actually not proc the Unyielding at all. And A4, as with all tanks, is always damage reduction. A5, this is a huge one as well, allowing you to stack the ultimate up to 2 times. But if you were to ask me, I think A3 is the big one if, you know, you're really looking at GvG as the main place that you'll use him. By A0, this guy is absolutely ready to go. You can use him in all those 3 areas at A0 as I've showcased, and this is the stats that we're looking at. And his artifact is probably the best in slot for him. Because if we see something like Bastion Ring, you're very dependent on all this damage reduction, having units to have to block him. But this guy already offers damage reduction with his talent, so he doesn't need that. He needs that 25% extra HP more. And yeah, once he gets into Icy Vein State, you can see max HP increases by 40% and Glacier Bulwark reduction goes up to 40. So there's really no reason to use Bastion Ring on him. If possible, you want to use the exclusive at all times. Question is just whether the artifact is going to be obtainable through a fusion event or sorts, or are we only going to get it through Forges itself. And with that said, then you probably want to save on your Forges in case Khadgrim is going to be your GvG go-to unit next. So yeah, that's the showcase for him. I think Brokkir is sadly power correct. Khadgrim is just miles apart from him. And you have Cyrus, who is still good as well, but Khadgrim is just overall a much better tank because no one can survive the focus strike like he can. And he also provides a lot of utility alongside that, especially with the damage reduction with units around him and the AoE shield that's permanent. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. If you have any more questions about Khadgrim, leave it down in the comment section below. I'll try my best to answer them. But this guy is really Brokkir on steroids. There's just no better way to put that. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. See you in the next one. Goodbye.